Hello and welcome back to the Elite Transformations podcast. Are you struggling with your consistency? Because today we have our top 5 mindset shifts which will set you up and unlock your full potential in January. Peak of the week?
Oh my goodness, I've listened to glorious piece of music by Tony Anderson. It's called Emmanuel and it's very lovely. I shan't sing it, but it's great. It's
I don't think it has lyrics, does it?
No, but you can sing it in a, you can hum the tune. But it's very emotive and I've enjoyed it. It's 12... just spat.
What was that?
Saliva.
Oh, lovely. Nice. Thanks for spitting on me.
You're so welcome. Leave a little gift wherever you go. It is about 14 minutes long, so it's a very emotive, lovely piece of music. So yeah, if you get the opportunity to listen to that, it's great. It's my peak of the week. Rich?
I went to see Sam Fender, which was super fun.
Yeah. Amazing.
I knew 3 songs. One of them was a cover song.
That's good. Well done.
I knew Supersonic Missile and I knew 17 again. Or is it called 17 again? 17 Going Under, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a massive Sam Fender fan, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
One thing was, it was very loud.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm just too much of a granddad.
Okay.
But it was very loud. I think you could have turned it down a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But it was great. Great performance, great show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And the mates that I went with...
Loved it.
They loved it, yeah.
That's good.
So that was great fun.
Oh, I love that. That's good.
Kicking off with number 1, defining your why. Lottie, tell us why defining your why is important.
We're going to be setting goals in the first place. Defining the why behind why you're setting the goals is a super important. It leads you back. So when we've talked about in the past motivation versus discipline, the why is when the motivation runs dry, we've got a little bit of the why. When
we get dry, we've got the why.
Yeah, there we go.
Love it.
So welcome. It's the why behind your goals. So yeah. If we think about it, defining your why. Want to have more energy playing with my children or my grandchildren, or I want to be able to do a 5k run, or I want to be able to. It brings you back to why you're doing what your goals are.
Almost anchors you.
It anchors
it's
you.
Anchoring point.
Yeah, especially in January where it's a bit bleak in the midwinter and motivation to begin with. Is a bit dry, so we have to really rely on the why. Would be what I would say. So
uncovering, like really getting down to the nitty gritty, really feeling like going as deep as possible with your why.
So and
being really honest with yourself.
So a bit of homework, for example, is even after this podcast, write down your why. Personally, have a little reflective moment, write down your why in terms of January. 2025.
Point number 2, visualizing success. Tell me a bit more.
I like a bit of visualization in general.
You do, yeah.
I do. I think it's a really helpful, useful tool. If we're imagining ourselves, when we're thinking about anxiety, is a really bad use of imagination because we're imagining all the really bad things that are going to happen. So I would ask people to get curious about, let's imagine some of the good stuff that could happen. So we can brand that as visualization. So again, even in this moment, close your eyes unless you're driving. Then please don't close your eyes. And imagine what a successful January looks like to you. So how do you feel? What goals are you achieving? What's your energy? Energetically, how do you feel in your body? Are you energized? Are you not? Like, begin to kind of flirt with the feelings and getting kind of juicy into like, okay, that's how I want to feel in January. I'm beginning to imagine myself into that version of what I'm feel becoming. So it helps you to kind of, visualization is like a dress rehearsal for
I like that.
something that you're going to show up to. So again, we have to imagine ourselves in that situation.
I think you make a really cool point that anxiety, the visualization, I really struggle with that word.
That was a good job.
The visualization, anyway, let's get past that. The visualization in a negative cycle, and that has such a physiological response in the body.
100%.
So like, rather than getting into that now, but we can go, if we flip that the other way, we can get such a physical response.
A visceral,
If we're using visualization for a positive,
I said it well.
a positive scenario
Yeah.
to actually help us progress.
Yeah. So, and that can be
Like it.
Yeah, that can be utilised in any way. So obviously we're talking about fitness goals and what we're doing, but that can be unplugged and plugged into any parts.
Powerful. Point 3. Black and white thinking. Dramatic.
That was dramatic. I love that. Yeah.
Those of you who are listening, watch that on YouTube because
It was powerful.
Dramatic,
It was super powerful.
Point 3. Shifting from an all or nothing point of view or raising black and white thinking. Why is that so important?
It's a mindset trap. So we talked about it before as a cognitive distortion. The January all or nothing thinking again. We start 1st of January, everyone's like, right, throw everything away.
Yeah.
The fridge, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, clear the fridge out, everything goes in the bin, sweets, chocolates, heroes, bosh, gone,
big
bin.
bang boom. And so it's starting about, and that's the point where we start this kind of new year, new me. It's going to be this. I'm going to have a 6-pack by the end of the month. And again, it's being really gentle. So like, January we start with, we're into it. We're going 150 miles an hour. January's all exciting. And then we get to the point where like, number one, we've kind of probably adapted too many things too quickly, gone in very fast and very hard. So by the time February comes, we're all like, I don't have the energy or the discipline or the motivation to continue this. So this is why we talk about lifestyle approach and lifestyle change in the way that's gentle. But then we've talked about before habit forming or habit stacking. So it becomes more of a sustainable lifestyle approach rather than it being this kind of... So if we're talking about success doesn't come from perfection. So when we have this all or nothing rigidity around our thinking of it's got to be this, we're not setting ourselves up for success. We're setting ourselves up for failure because actually effectively we're not giving ourselves any wiggle room. So that's that all or nothing black or white thinking. It's this or that. There's no grey. We've spoken about greyish before. It's one of my favourite words in terms of what we're looking at, being more greyish about it. So the same point, do we have to throw everything away in the fridge come the 1st of January? Or can we just, taper eating off chocolate for breakfast, but we can still finish the chocolate rather than just throwing it away? So it's really, again, gently looking at that, nurturing ourselves through adapting again our mindset around that. So instead of aiming for perfection, instead of aiming it for it to be perfect, we want to aim, I always talk about good enough is good enough. We're striving for excellence rather than perfection. So we're striving for, okay, this is excellent, this is sustainable, this is something I can do forever, rather than this has to be perfect and there is no failure in it, like we've spoken about before. So
this is something we do speak about often.
Yeah, and again, remembering, all of those things about, like, if you miss one workout, it doesn't mean that you've ruined it, or you've had a day where you've eaten whatever you've eaten and my diet's out of the window. No, we have to, again, apply that wiggle room and showing up for ourselves. We're looking at that 1%, like, keep doing the same thing. The 1%, there's growth. There's growth, and it's the same point where, what do they call it? I'm thinking about it.
Accumulation.
Yes, it's a finance analogy.
The compound interest effect.
The compound interest effect can also be related not only to investing and finance, watch them come for me, but it is also the compound effect of exercising with that 1%. So that's going to pay off in terms of compound interesting in your wellness in your body, which is...
Festive metaphor, snowballing.
Snowball, I love that. Okay.
It can snowball into a progression, can't it? As it builds and gains traction.
Yeah, that's nice.
Point number 4. This is going to follow very nicely from point number 3, but we are going to want to embrace a beginner's mindset. Why is this important?
I think it's really important to, when we start something new, we have that kind of, there's that fresh I'm learning something new. My mindset's very different to... So when we're going back to the gym in January, it's thinking about that vibe around like, we can start this as a fresh thing, not, oh, I should have been here for the last 2 weeks and I've not done it and haven't moved.
The shame.
The shame, the shoulda, woulda, coulda thinking. When we embrace that beginner's mindset, we're like, oh, this is new. And we've got that flexibility and that room for growth and for wiggling and for, okay, we're taking something in and it's new. When we pick up anything, when we're learning a new habit, when we are trying to stack an old habit, all of that kind of stuff, when we're new, we are allowing ourselves to, well, we're flirting with the idea of like, we're going to make this work for us. So you're kind of a scientist working through like, I'm understanding how this works, rather than that rigidity of I should have done this, So if we can embrace that beginner's mindset, it means that we're looking at something from an entirely different perspective or with a different lens on, which is really helpful if we're coming back to gym where we should have been in the gym over Christmas. If we can embrace that, be curious about it, and again, take that in kind of that way that's like, I'm just being curious. I'm going to see how my body feels. I'm going to see how my body moves.
I think it's also important in there, as a beginner, to expect mistakes and to not beat yourself up if you do make
I love
mistakes.
that point, yeah.
So as a beginner, mistakes will happen. You're finding your feet. If you go in expecting you're an expert, to not make mistakes, again, that's the perfection, black and white thinking. So yeah, links in nicely with point 3.
No, I love that.
Final point number 5, committing to self-accountability. This is a big one.
Okay, so let's talk about self-accountability. So it's easy to rely on external motivation, external validation, all of those kind of things. But the real magic happens when you begin to take ownership and self-accountability for your own journey with support, but you begin to do that. And that comes from, I bang on about this all the time, that comes from self-worth. That comes from how worthy am I to feel, how much do I love myself to move my body every day? How worthy do I feel to show up for myself every single day? Then, so when people say, well, that's selfish, then we begin to emanate, okay, if I'm showing up for myself in this and training every day makes me feel really good, how do I then show up as a mother, partner, sister, brother? When I'm filling, again, when we talk about when I'm filling up my own cup first, that begins to emanate and radiate throughout all of your other relationships. So you're showing up as when we begin to take that self-accountability, celebrate ourselves, coming from a place of self-worth, I am worthy and deserving to move my body, to nourish my body, to all of those things. When they come from that place of self-worth and understanding of I'm celebrating myself, I'm worthy of being here, I'm worthy of living this life, we begin to show up more powerfully. We begin to understand ourselves, and we respect ourselves in that way, really gently. It takes a long time and it's a practice, but that begins to then emanate and radiate. Emanate, I'm not sure if it's the right word, but radiate out. It gives us that availability to then show up in life as that version of ourselves that says, I'm worthy of being here. I'm worthy and deserving of celebrating myself.
Yeah, that's a deep one. The most important one, isn't it?
I think so. I'm all about self-worth and self-esteem, so I think,
That is your jam.
It is my jam. Worthiness issues are my jam, because that's what lots of people struggle with is self-worth. So I think for me it's assisting people to remind them that they are worthy of living that life.
Recap time. So we have these top 5 mindset shifts. We have defining your why.
Yes.
We have visualizing success.
We do.
We have eliminating black and white thinking, or the all or nothing approach.
Yeah.
We have accountability, to stay self-accountability. And we also must embrace a beginner's mindset.
Yeah.
So those are our top 5 mindset shifts for you guys to implement. So give it a go. Let us know how you get on, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks for listening. See you soon.
One more thing before we go. It's not long now until January, where we launch Elite Transformations Lite, our online training program, which is your chance to work with us. And we go over all of these topics in way more detail. So log on to the website, check it out, and we'll see you on the other side.